Now let's talk about currencies, and they are very closely linked to fund flows, of course. Sebastien Barbe is Calyon's head of emerging market research and strategy is with me today. Very good day. Thanks for joining us today. As Asian stock markets have risen, have we seen much impact on Asian currencies?
Yeah, I guess the rally we have seen in Asian currencies over the past 1 month and a half is very much linked with the stock market. The correlation between currencies and the stock indices is amazingly strong. So I guess, yes, it's basically it's a stock rally which is leading to a currency rally.
And when we take a look at the Asian dollar index, for example, we can see some of that pattern. We can show that up on the screen now. But the bottom line is the Asian dollar index partly reflects Asian currency strength. Obviously, dollar weakness as well. How much of each are you seeing?
I mean, in terms of the outlook for the Asia dollar index, maybe in the short term it can suffer a little bit from the rebound in the US dollar because the market is now pricing a little bit more rate hikes in the US, so the US dollar is benefiting. Beyond the short term, I think the Asian dollar index will continue to appreciate, and I think the US dollar is going maybe to weaken. I think this diversification story is a long-run story, is going to work out in the next few months and few years.
Diversification in terms of where investors are putting their money and where central banks are putting their reserves?
Exactly, yeah. Both diversification.
I mean, at the moment, China's got a stable exchange rate. It's been pointed out that's stable against the US dollar. It's been pointed out it can't do that without buying dollars. We know the BRIC nations bought $60 billion worth of dollars in May. I mean, the dollar clearly still is the international reserve.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm talking about diversification, sure, you're right. The US dollar will remain the key currency.
So I'm wondering how
invest
fast
in
that diversification will take place.
Yeah, the thing is the diversification has begun for something like 5 to 6 years. The share of the US dollar in central bank reserve has gone from maybe 70% to something like 62% recently. Maybe it's going to accelerate a little bit, the diversification, but the US dollar, of course, is going to remain a key destination for investors.
So slow and steady pace.
Yeah, maybe
over many years.
Slightly quicker, maybe, but still not a big bang diversification.
Okay, let's take a look at one of the currencies that you like most of all here in Asia. That is the Indian rupee. This is one you're particularly bullish on, yes?
That's right. Yeah, I think, I mean, the Indian rupee is very promising in terms of the appreciation because I think the current government, the new government, is going to launch a big wave, I mean, significant wave of reforms with more disinvestment leading to more capital inflows, so supporting the currency. And at the same time, we are likely to see the benefit of lower oil prices now compared to 1 year ago. Of course, oil prices have been up over the past 2 to 3 months, but compared to 1 year ago, it's much lower. Very good for India trade balance in particular. So we'll see the benefit of that. And I think in terms of the interest rates, India is, in terms of economic growth, is a little bit, even significantly better than the rest of the region and the rest of emerging market. Domestic demand is okay, credit is stabilizing. I think RBI, the market is going to expect RBI to become less dovish in the coming months, and maybe rates can be supported by that. So another support in terms of the carry for the INR.
Okay, so we're trading at about 47.6 at the moment. What are you looking at?
I would expect maybe short-term, slight consolidation, but if you look at the middle of next year, 43 would be my target, so a significant appreciation.
Okay, that is a lot of appreciation. How much risk do you see in India? I mean, is always potentially a volatile country, politically speaking?
It is, but after the result of the election we had recently, I think we have a kind of unique window of opportunity with a government coalition which is not relying too much on leftist parties or regional parties. So I think the political stability is much stronger now compared to the past 10 years. So I think it's a unique opportunity.
Okay. Another currency you like, that is the Taiwan dollar. This one, again, you're bullish on, although cautiously bullish, yes?
Exactly, cautiously bullish because basically I think Taiwanese dollar is now a Chinese story. The next leg of the Taiwanese dollar history will be links with China. But the problem is the carry is very low in Taiwan. So you cannot really earn interest rates. So you must believe very strongly in the China story and the links with China if you want to put your money in Taiwan and benefit from it. But in terms of the positive factors, if you look at the balance of payments, it's amazing how Taiwanese investors have invested abroad over the past 2 to 3 years. And I think even if 50% of this money comes back to Taiwan, you have the potential to lift up the currency, plus Chinese money is going to be invested through the qualified domestic institutional investor scheme in Taiwan, and you may have more than a couple of hedge fund or asset managers which want to follow suit. So I think you have some potential.
Okay. Target for the Taiwan dollar?
I think maybe if you look at the middle of next year, 31 would be a target.
Okay, we're at just under 33 at the moment, so again, quite a nice bit of upside. Stay in your seat, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to carry on talking to Sebastien Barbe. Also, take a look at the drop in the greenback against Asian currencies, done or not. DBS has details on that. Plus, of course, send us your emails. All of that coming up after the break. You're watching the Bloomberg Edge. Many more trading ideas still to come. Welcome back. Talking to Sebastien Barbe, Calyon's head of emerging market research and strategy. Now, we've been talking about the Indian rupee. You love that one. Taiwan dollar, you like it, although you're a little cautious on it. Philippine peso, the third currency we're talking about today, not so keen.
Yeah, I think, Philippine peso is a bit vulnerable. First of all, the Philippines have been hit by the crisis, but with a lag compared to the other Asian economies, because they have the big buffer of remittances and big private consumption story. But now it's really beginning to feel the hit. And I think you've got maybe two more specific points of weakness for the peso. One is the remittances, particularly. If you look at the past crisis, usually in the first phase, Philippine expatriates begin to continue to send back money home. Then when the job market deteriorates, which is the case right now, the flows are drying up a little bit. I think we have maybe negative year-on-year growth for remittances looking forward. Second point of weakness is the fiscal performance. It has been deteriorating. I think it will continue to deteriorate, obviously, because the government is supporting economic growth, right? And also you have less recipe because of lower economic growth. So, and I think it's quite correlated, peso and the fiscal performance. So looking forward, I think one should try to be cautious about the Philippine peso. I think it will underperform the other currencies. And if we have a correction on the global equity market, which I think is really possible, the Philippine peso could depreciate by a significant percentage over the next something like 2 to 3 months.
Because the riskiest equity markets would depreciate most and the currencies follow them, basically.
Exactly. And
what the Philippines has been trying to do for quite a long time is attract more foreign direct investment. It does have mines, it does have resources, and it's been trying to get international mining companies to come in on those. It's had limited success. Is there an issue here? I mean, that would help push up the currency.
Yeah, it would definitely help to push the currency, but the thing is competition is big, right? Competition is very strong. You have China, you have Vietnam coming in this market, you've got Indonesia, even outside Asia, a lot of emerging countries, particularly right now. I mean, in the next few years, all these countries will look to consolidate their balance of payments, so the competition will be very strong. So, of course, Philippines have a lot of trump, including English-speaking people, but I think it's going to be very tough. Okay, fair enough. Now, we have an email that's come from Rishi. It's not directly, we have another one actually from Martin. Let's go to that first. Indonesian rupiah, the IDR. Any thoughts on that? A lot of people we've had on the program have been very bullish on Indonesia as an equity market, and again, you'd expect the rupiah to follow. Yeah, I'm reasonably bullish also on the idea. I was quite bullish, but it has recovered quite significantly over the past 1 month and a half. So maybe now it's going to consolidate a little bit. But medium term, yes, I think you have some reason to be bullish, basically because it's not too open to the global economy, and the domestic demand story is okay. So I guess Indonesia will be spotted by global investors with China, India, maybe Brazil as large emerging markets you want to invest in because they will be the first to recover. Okay, and I think we have the email from Rishi, who says as prices rise in equity and real estate markets, will investment banks be able to bring back structured products to Asian clients? I don't know if he's thinking of Lehman mini bonds or the like, but any structured products. Yeah, I think it's a tricky question because I think, yes, some interest will come back for structured product, but very much paced by step by step, because the idea is really that the crisis we have gone through was a major trauma. Investors are going to chase some revenue, but they are going to be much more careful than before. So, yes, we'll come back on this product, but very much step by step. Okay, fair enough. And we have an email from Michael who says, what do you think about the Sri Lankan rupee, end of the 26-year civil war? Yeah, I mean, I think now we have more reason to be optimistic about the rupee. Plus, if we have an appreciation of the INR, given the integration with India, I think it's another pillar of maybe some kind of strengthening of this rupee. But I would still be cautious because the political background is much better than what it was something like 3-6 months ago. But for me, I think, investors are really likely to remain a little bit cautious about that.
Okay. Sebastien, thank you very much indeed for your time today.
My pleasure.
Sebastien Barbe, Head of Emerging Market Research at Calyon.